So a little bit of a delay, but started here. Alright, good evening and thanks for coming to class with Halloween. Happy Halloween. So we're gonna bring candy. I'm not thoughtful like that about candy.
Yeah. We didn't touch that bit, well. So no candy.
We
didn't touch that.
Alright, so for tonight what I had planned for us was I did post all the homework until the end of the quarter so we can review it to make sure you're comfortable and have a plan, and maybe if you want to work ahead you can. I have a very tiny lecture, in fact so tiny that I made it into a blog post instead of a page on a screenshot, how to add a screenshot to your theme, because as you might have noticed, right now it doesn't have a screenshot, it just has the theme itself that we have been uploading. So I'll show you how to do that. And after this I have a lab, which the idea is to just go through an entire theme from scratch, but I've tried to make the theme the least possible amount of functions and functionality. And then I don't know if we'll finish tonight, but I would like us to do an end-to-end project like that, and we'll record it so you have it as a reference as you're working through your sites. And as we proceed through the class, I will add additional files to the same theme and keep on building it. So that's the plan. And if you don't have any questions, all right, let's get started. Let me bring up our homework. So you should have at this point some kind of screenshot of your static site, correct? What you're thinking of working on for the previous assignment? The one that's due tonight? Right.
I just said file for URL.
Yeah, me too.
It said URL or.
So what you can do is you can take screenshots and paste them into Google Docs and send me a link to Google Docs.
Okay.
That's what I
would
would
you
do.
rather have that?
I think what you say. Yeah, I did a URL.
If you have a URL, as long as it's a URL, it's fine. But if you don't want or have a special URL for this purpose, just take screenshots and paste them, or I guess one screenshot. Put it in a Google Doc and then you can send me a link.
Okay.
Well, you would want to screenshot of all pages.
You can put the link in
Right.
your Google
Well, then you
Doc.
can put those in a Google Doc.
Yeah.
So either way is fine. If you have a URL, give me a URL and I'll
Okay.
look at the pages. If not, put it in a Google Docs, send me a link and I can look through those. Either way works.
And there were some pages that I was planning on using like a plugin for like a gallery or things like that.
So one of your assignments will be to have a plugin. Let's go over this right now.
Okay.
So that should work fine. Okay, so this was assignment 5 and now we're on assignment 6. And we'll just review them together. For the next several assignments, you'll be working on your WordPress site, which is going to culminate with your final presentation. The final presentation is also worth 100 points, so everything is worth 100 points. And that's where you share your work with the class. Now, one thing I would like you to do is, if you haven't already, please go ahead and start a GitHub repository. Does everyone know how to do this? No? All right, so we can go over it today or Wednesday. We can not here. But at least you should just go to GitHub and then sign up for an account.
I think I have one. Bill tried to show us last quarter,
Okay.
and it was so glitchy that I signed in and then I couldn't do anything further.
Okay.
So I saw him do it, so I kind of have an idea what it's
Sure, so we can certainly review or show you how to do this. But you can start a GitHub repository, and then you will be uploading your template files to the repository. And as a result, you will submit both the WordPress link, and then as a comment, you submit the link to your repository so that the TAs and I can look at your source code. Okay. The first assignment of 10 is going to be a header and footer and blog page. So you will create. My apologies, you guys didn't tell me that this is not sure. Here we go. In fact, let me get my pointer here. So header and footer in the blog page, and then you create them and make them dynamic so that they represent your static site, and then the content will need to be at this point dynamic. So you pull the title and the subtitle with the WordPress functions we've been talking about. And the menu must come from the dashboard, and now you know how to add a menu as well, right? And then your page will be the blog post page, and then this will be your index, and you will just for now have it as a basic page, right? So the three deliverables for this assignment will be the header, the footer, and the blog page. For the blog page, there isn't really much requirement at this time except that it's there. For the header and the footer, or actually for all of them, whatever is there, make sure to make it dynamic. Okay? Right?
So the blog page is index.
So use it as the index. Now this will depend how you configured your WordPress, because you can have your WordPress to have a static page or a blog page. But in any case, it's fine because I can know to look at the blog page.
Okay.
All right. And to make this work, you need one more file. So what other file do we need as the bare minimum? Functions is not required as a bare minimum. Style.
Oh yeah.
It's not mentioned directly here, but you need to have style.css as well for this to work, right?
Don't you need function up for the menu?
Oh, I guess you do, you're correct. So yeah, so if you have the menu, you have to have functions. Yes.
So we're doing this out of the page that we just created for this last assignment, right?
Yeah.
And then are we gonna upload it as a theme? WordPress and then,
Yeah, so this is going to be a theme. That's the idea.
so we need to do all this stuff and then upload it to our WordPress.
Yeah, you're starting to build a theme.
Okay. Then you said the menu must come from the dashboard. So we have to.
Well, you have to configure, remember I showed you last time, there is a step you have to configure on the dashboard to enable the menu, to connect it. We can go over it again.
About the WordPress here, can I also view like the CSS post? Because last time I post the team and it's available all the time. But the customer can follow my idea.
So is this your thing or customizing it?
Yeah. Is it possible?
No.
For example,
So you have to copy.
the picture belongs
Put it through
that's
that.
the place.
I'm going to need to see the files. So yes, if you have the files and they're yours, then you can submit them, but you have to, follow the rules. So as long as you can get me the files, then upload them to Github, that is okay. Right? You have to get the source files for what you're working on in this class. All right, so some things to consider here. Make sure that HTML and PHP are formatted properly and indented. Well-formed CSS. The content on the page should be dynamic, and all required content is present. And for submission, and this will be the case for all of the assignments, submit a link and source code as a comment, since you can only submit one link, okay? So that's assignment 1. And not submitting the source link will result in 30-point reduction, so you want to make sure to submit both. Don't forget. So that's assignment 6. And your menu, by the way, it can be very basic, right? You just have a basic menu there, and that should be sufficient. Then for the next assignment, you're going to add a sidebar, which I'll show you tonight, and widgets, which you can include into the sidebar. And there are essentially functions that we need to add to sidebar PHP, to functions PHP and sidebar PHP to make this happen. So tonight I'll show you how to do this as well. And then everything else is the same considerations and the same submission. So that's assignment 7. For assignment 8, you're going to create a single post page and a page.php. You have already started working on a single post page, but you can refine it further and then you create a page for your pages, page.php, so that your static pages, right, so your pages on the WordPress site pull up not from the default, but from page.php. We have not covered yet how to do this, but we will, right? So we keep on building pages in, files, PHP files to keep on adding to your theme. Okay, and then 9, add additional template files. So these are the archives, search, and a user-friendly 404.php. So you will be adding these for assignment 9. And again, we're going to learn how to do it. They're sort of miscellaneous. And then finally, for week 10, you're going to have 2 weeks for this assignment. And it will be for you to both add a plugin to your site and to refine your site in any way you deem necessary so that you can present it. It looks like the finals week is December, I believe 13th through the 15th. So we're going to talk soon about who is presenting when and schedule some presentations. And I always like to get an input from you. If you need more time, we'll do it in the finals week. If you don't, then we can do it even in the previous week and be done. So that'll be up for you, because technically these are not finals. So we have flexibility as to when you want to present. So that's the roadmap. And the other thing we're going to do is we have some miscellaneous topics that don't necessarily relate to the theme, but how to edit the CSS of your themes later on, or a theme, and then some other topics that are more UI based rather than custom theme based. We haven't covered, so we're going to go back over those as well. And this is the plan as far as the assignments. How does that sound? Okay, questions?
So would you go over the lecture for the header content?
But I did this last time, and I recorded it. Didn't I?
I don't see the recorder.
We're going to create a header and footer again tonight, but
Okay.
I did record the lecture,
You
right?
saw that?
Yeah.
I don't think you said that.
So you should go to my YouTube channel, Piano, and then look for it there. And also there is a lecture. So right here. Yeah. So look at this, and then you can watch the video as well. Okay, now I have a tiny little lecture I would like to share with you. I think I might need to link this still to the lecture, so I'll do this, but all right. So as you have noticed, when you upload your theme and then select it, the other themes have pictures, images that go with them, but ours did not. So to add one, what you need to do is you need to capture an image of the site. It's supposed to be more landscape-ish than portrait in nature because of the way that the theme window is shaped. And there are recommendations from WordPress codex as to what the dimensions of the screenshot would be. So you can use a tool such as a snipping tool to capture it, and then you save it as a PNG. Our recommended size is 1200 by 900. The actual size it shows is 387 by 290. So as long as I save it as a snipping tool PNG file, it seems to work fine. I haven't actually measured the dimensions, but Star, you look concerned?
I'm totally confused right now.
Oh, okay. So let's take a
So,
look. At
I
the,
know how to take a screenshot, and I understand that, but is this to help you
I'll
create
show
the
you.
sizing for your
It's for
images?
this,
let's take a look.
That's for when you pull.
use made a photo.
Okay,
So take a look here. So here are some themes with screenshots. These are the screenshots. And there are a couple of themes, such as our first theme. It doesn't have one,
Yeah.
but we wanted to have one. And now we're learning how to do it.
okay.
So the
So
first,
you take a screenshot of your actual visual design?
right. The first step would be to take a screenshot of the visual design. And this is rectangular, just white, so it looks like it's not.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what
Or-
yeah. So essentially you can do
or
this.
like, your Photoshop document or.
You have a
Illustrator,
print
whatever.
screen button.
I use the snipping tool again. It should be on all Windows machines.
I totally don't have an experience,
Okay.
but I was just confused about,
Why we're doing this?
yeah.
Yeah, it was weird for me too, because I'm like, why did he, but it's literally just.
Is this thing right here for your theme? Right.
Okay,
Oh.
and is that also like the cover page for your theme, and like?
Oh, here it
When
is.
you make a theme, do other people have access to it?
Well,
Like these themes that we have access to?
if they have to get to obtain the theme, you can put it through the WordPress theme, exchange site, or you can just email. But they have to have access to the files. It's not magically going to appear.
Okay.
Remember when we first installed and set up WordPress, it only has a couple of default themes. You had to add additional, right? And you can add them through the WordPress marketplace, or you can upload it through the FTP, since those are our own. So here I just activated the single theme, and this is what the theme looks like, right? And then you can take a screenshot of that, save it, and now we're back here. And you have to save it as screenshot.png. It's a required name, and it should be all lowercase. And then once you have it, the only thing you have to do is FTP it to your themes folder. And then it will show up instead of having the blank, the blank.
So this is really just so you can visually see your theme?
It literally is a screenshot.
Okay.
That's all it is. It literally is a
It's the
screenshot.
icon.
This is nothing to do with like setting images
No.
sizes within
No,
your actual page?
literally the
No,
screenshot.
that's where I was confused. Now I'm sorting it out. Thank you.
So this is the screenshot. Sorry, Nico, go ahead.
Mike said to think of it as the icon.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's a good way to put it.
Thank you.
And then after you upload it, and we're going to do this with our theme exercise tonight. I think our theme exercise tonight might take 2 nights. We have to see how it goes. Then as you can see, it shows here, just like the other ones, now it has its own screenshot. Okay. And the documentation says that the screenshot should be representative of your site, right? Which makes sense. All right, so screenshot, let's see here. So you need to sign up for GitHub if you didn't. If you did, then you can, if I can remember my password, which is always a, okay, so go to, just go to Google for GitHub, and if it's going to ask you to sign up. Yeah, so if you don't have a GitHub, then go ahead and set one up. Or if you do, then just hang on, and then you can create a repository for your WordPress. Okay, so you does anyone need a moment to sign up?
I didn't use
Right now I needed to work on the GitHub because then you can do this later. My videos you can watch later, but you need to go to
I have
GitHub.
no problem with GitHub.
Okay, well then go there so we can watch. Well, then you probably all know what you need to do, but you might, let's see here, you might already have repositories, or if not, then you have to create a new one. So you'd create a repository, and for this class, you can name it WordPress, if you like.
Start a project.
You need to,
Go up to the little plus sign in the top corner. Yeah.
so start, if you take a look.
Okay.
So I'll maybe create a test one. So create new repository, and then give it a name. Do you want to name it WordPress? It sounds like. So this will be for your WordPress related files. So you name it what you want, but that's what it's going to be.
So if we have multiple WordPress sites, they would all be in this one.
I would put them in folders and put them under WordPress. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah, because they'll be in their own theme folders.
Okay.
I don't think it makes sense to have a separate repository for each theme, but you certainly could if you wanted to, right? So I already have a WordPress, but just for, I'll just say test here, and then create it. And so this is just test
Do you
repo.
want to make it public or private?
You have to make it public. If you make it private, you have to pay.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can, but if you don't want to pay, click on initialize the repository with README. So these are important. Right now, we won't do them, but a license is important, and the git ignore is for files. If you're working maybe on an Android project, Android has a lot of environmental variables and files that are pertinent to a specific machine, and you want those to be ignored when you upload to GitHub because they only depend on your particular machine. So that's what this is. We don't need to use it right now, but it's very useful when you can select for different, environments the files, and then you can give here a license if you like. And then you will make sure you initialize this repo with the README, and then create repository. And while generally you want to learn how to use the bash, but for now we can just use upload files. So you'd click on upload files. Now, if you want to use the bash, the command line, by all means, go ahead, but you don't have to in this class. And then we can just, Nico, are you using it? You sure?
I just realized that I'm ahead of myself, sorry.
Okay. So I'm just going to upload a file here. This will be, or a folder. You can upload a folder. Let's see if I have a folder to upload. So here's theme X. I don't know what this is, but I'll upload it here. So if you have a folder, you can try uploading it, and then you have to commit the changes and maybe add some description if you like. This is only a test. Commit changes. And now in your new repository, WordPress test in this case, you have a folder, and in the folder you have the files. And so you can send me a link to the folder of your theme.
And you need to have the screenshot.png in that folder.
You need to have it in this folder, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to make this happen. This was just a random thing that I just uploaded. I don't know what's actually in here. And then you can look at the files through here, as you can see. And this is how you create a repository, and you can add files to it. If you need to delete one, let's see. It will be through settings, I believe.
Go to your profile.
Okay, there you go. So under profile,
And then repositories. Along the top.
Next to overview that's highlighted in the top middle.
Top middle.
Lower.
Down, still. Up.
Does the word follow me?
sorry. Oh, through here. Okay, actually, there is a different place that they use, so that's why this.
If you want to delete it, you go to the thing and then you go to
Yeah, settings. That's what I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to go pick your repository, and then under settings, danger zone, and then you can delete your repository from
So
here.
which files do we upload to this?
And in fact, I'm going to delete this right now. So when you start developing your when you start developing the theme files, you're going to put them in this folder.
So since we made it public, does that mean that technically other people can see it?
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
And why do we want to use GitHub?
The charge, you send the emails to charge, I had it before.
Why do you want to use GitHub? For a couple of reasons. One of them is because it's very convenient to share code through GitHub. And the other reason is that you want to start building up your GitHub portfolio. When employers come to you, or when you go to employers for jobs, it is very common they're going to say, I need you to give me a link to your GitHub, or they might even Google it. So you need to start building this up for your employability. But it also happens that it's very convenient for what we're doing. There is a lot more you can do with it. You can share, I think Mike and maybe Bill use it for, what it's originally for is to share code in a team setting, right? And without having, it handles the version control. And that's very challenging to do. So that if Star and Liz are working on the same file, how are you going to manage changes? What if you both are working on the same file exactly at the same time? And then you try to check in, what would happen? GitHub will take care of the merge for you. And it's still very tricky to use, but it provides this kind of functionality, which is very helpful. But what we're doing is just a very small bit of it, yet it's sufficient for what we are doing here. So now everyone has their GitHub set up, and then you can upload your first theme, your own first theme when you're ready.
So do you just upload? Because when I think part of the thing that I'm confused about, when I look at all my WordPress files, there's tons of them. Are there specific ones to upload?
Well, you're going to upload the ones that you want to use. So for example, tonight we're going to work on a theme that is named 1031. And these are the files that are necessary for this theme to work. Essentially, what you want to have here is what you're going to drag through FTP to your WordPress site, right? This is just a convenient way for you to save your files and to work with them.
So when we're submitting our assignments to you, is there a way that, because I can imagine that we're going to start having a lot of files in our Git after these assignments. So
Okay.
can we send like a folder?
Yes, so just like this right now, if you look up here, it says 1031.
Okay.
So this will send the link to the, to the entire folder. But if you wanted to send just one file, you could just click on the file and then send that link.
Is it easy to create folders?
Well, you can just drag one up.
So,
You can just create your folder on the desktop and then drag it up to upload. So it's pretty easy.
Oh, so it saves that folder.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, just you can upload it. Again, generally it's preferred to use the command line, but we just don't need to go into it right now, so we won't, right? Unless you want to. Okay, so that was GitHub. So let's go ahead and work on this theme. I guess I'll start by showing you what we're working towards.
Are we eventually gonna have to add a screenshot for these? Or?
Yeah. And you now know how it's very easy. We can even do it maybe with this theme as a practice. Let's see. Oh, this one. Sorry. All right. So this is the theme we're going to create together. And it just shows that you can put colors. So, but it has a sidebar, so that's new. And we're going to work towards creating this theme. Feel free to use, more aesthetically pleasing colors for your designer eye if you like. And also, so it has a header, a footer, and a sidebar, and then this is the text. And then if you click on a post, it will show you the post with some minimal styling, such as adding a little padding there and so on. Okay. All right, so where do we start? Well, we start by creating a folder for the theme. This didn't look so awfully seafoamy when I did it. I don't know what I was thinking. I got to change it.
So you're downloading the.
Well, we're doing it from scratch. We're not downloading anything. Rather, we're creating a folder. You do have access to the files, but you're going to create your own version. And maybe customize it a little differently if you like to make it your own. So now we're going through the process from scratch to having a theme uploaded with a screenshot live. And then you repeat the process for your assignments, except you make them your own, right? Okay, so we have a new folder. This is the first step, create a new folder. And this theme is going to be named 10.3.1. Oops. All right, and then inside the folder, we're going to create the files that we want. So the way to do this, I think the easiest way is to point brackets to the folder, and then we'll save them in the folder. So open brackets. And then point brackets to the folder where the theme will be. Right? So that's important. Are we okay?
Yes.
All right. And then let's create the files. So the first file we're going to create, we're going to save as index.php. In blank, we'll just save it there. We'll create the folder structure. I really like the approach of creating the files first. It allows you to think about what's going on and then go in and add the files. Okay, then we're going to create new file, save as header.php. The third file we create is going to be sidebar.php. The next one will be footer.php. The next one will be functions.php. And lastly, style.css. All right, so now we have our necessary files here. And when we have something working, we'll create a screenshot and add it as well. Let me add magnify so you can see. All right, so this should be the files in your theme folder at this point. All right, let's start with a CSS file, and this is prone to typos, so let's go to grab. Remember how on the top of the CSS file we have to have the comment section, which is required for WordPress? So let's grab this from, I believe I posted the CSS template, so we don't make typos there, because this would be quite problematic. Let me just change here. Right now I'm just getting to the page that, actually let me change this real quick.
So we don't have to follow you now.
Right now, don't follow me. I'm just changing the theme so I can, let's see here, new pages.
Are you using the CSS from the code share one?
What I would like to do is just get the top part, just the comments. So let's see, just 1 second. Here we go. Okay. So if you'd please go to the lecture titled Building Your Theme 1, Set Up Theme Files. And then there will be some templates if you scroll down under Add Required Files. And then click on the CSS file, and then we will copy.
Raw, you can put raw, R-A, raw.
Step 2 theme. Okay, so again, building your theme 1, set up theme files, and then scroll down to Add Required Files, and click on the here. Are we okay?
Yeah.
All right. And then click on the style, and then let's copy the comment section so that we don't make any mistakes there. And then we'll paste this in our styles.css. And then we'll make some changes to it. So the name of the theme is going to be 1031. And that's where you'll be adding the name of your theme as you name it. Then the URI, the description, country 1 theme, and then put yourself as author. You can put here your website if you have one. version. The tags, they're optional, but you can put responsive or maybe simple.
For the URI, are we putting our own or?
For the URI should be the website, the WordPress site, and then the author site, the author URI is if you have your own site, you're going to put it there. Right? So the tags are optional, and the version is optional. And then you can add comments here. So if you want to add some comments to the theme, you'd add them before the closing comment tag. So this is a comment and needs to go before closing comment section, right? And then when we are ready, we're going to come back here to add some CSS classes and other styling. Select some classes and then add some styles to the site. All right, so save this, and then when you come back, we're going to work on the header, but let's take, we agreed to take short breaks, so just maybe stretch your legs, come back, and we'll continue. All right, for now, you can close the style CSS.
That's what Mantis is hooked to as well. Well, it's actually WordPress good content. So you can go back and change the file directory into that project. Select your files. So that's there it is. So you want this to go to your WordPress instead of chapter 7. Or that. Yeah. And then is that what is that? Then you gotta go to here and go to these. And then do that. And then don't do that. You just have to put the folder. Because then it'll pick up the index. Oh, wait, you were looking at it. Sorry, you do it here, not there. No, On this, and we change, go to there, and shoot out. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah. It's still. I'll click on the folder, not the. So that's why.
I guess you can't print to these machines. Okay, you can't print here.
You can't?
Okay, I don't think so
Why?
because it's not an option.
New system.
Speaking of architects,
Frustrating.
try this.
Well, I don't think you can.
There's a free training library.
I have to print something. Okay, are you guys ready to continue then?
Yes, please.
So next, let's open the header. PHP. And here we're going to create the top of our header, index, and footer. So we start by declaring the doc type, which will be HTML, HTML5. And now we start calling those functions to populate dynamically the content. There will be a lot of metadata up here in the header. As well as the information that the visitors will see. All right, so we're going to open the HTML tag. My glasses. And then for the language attribute, we're going to add PHP language attribute. We're not closing the HTML here, right? Now, is it helpful for you to look up each of these functions as we go through them, or would you like to finish it and then look it up, or what do you think is better for you? Because there are a lot of WordPress functions we're going to be calling.
I think if we have a time, it goes better. But if you think you have enough time to finish like this.
Okay, so let's finish the header and then we'll go look at the functions. Sounds good. Or maybe finish the site. All right, sounds good. Yeah. Okay. A lot of these things we have gone over, right?
I would say the ones that maybe we haven't gone over.
Okay. Oh, so maybe you can ask and say,
Yeah.
so you know this, we went over this last time actually, right? Yeah. But if you have a question, maybe we'll go over, otherwise we'll keep on going and then we can go over them later as necessary. But if there is something that is confusing at any time, just raise your hand and we can pause. All right, so we add the head. And in the head, we're going to have a meta, meta char set is equal to, and then we're going to invoke PHP blog info char set. And then close the meta tag. Okay, the next one is going to be the title. And this will be PHP blog info name. PHP WP title. Okay, also in the head after the title, we need to include the link to the CSS file. So link, file sheet, media equals all, and then href. And now we're going to dynamically include the blog info, style, sheet, URL, and close our tag.
So the H shape is a PHP.
Well, if you have the PHP tags, then it is PHP. Yeah. Okay. Next, let's add the PHP WP head. This is used when you start using the plugins, so it should be added always before the closing head tag. Now let's open the body tag. So we'll only open it here, we're not closing it.
Sorry.
So it is printing for you. Maybe I should maybe to print my stuff too. All right. So in the body tag, we're going to have PHP, the body class, which is going to allow us to include classes to our tags. Okay, so close the PHP and close the HTML. And the color coding is very helpful, isn't it? All right. Now within the body, we're going to have a div with the ID of page. This div will not be closed here, however. And inside this div, nest a different div with the ID of header.
So we don't close the.
We don't close the body and the div because they will be actually closed in a different file. Right? But the header you close here, and then in the header we're going to add the h1 with the header info. So there is a lot of, we have to be careful here. Href is equal to PHP echo.
You tell me which close let the close this which belong to page or header. The one on at the bottom belong to
Do not close the.
The-
Do not
Close
close
the-
these two.
one close and
The
Yeah,
one
you-
that is closed is for the header.
Yeah.
for the header.
Yeah, it's just we're still typing here, so that's why it's not
For the header.
colored correctly. Right. Okay. So actually, I didn't want this here. So then escape URL home underscore URL slash and then title is equal to PHP echo escape ATR get blog info of name display close two parentheses, close semicolon, close PHP, and then close the quotation mark. Rel is equal home. And then PHP blog info name close the A tag and close the H1 tag. And there is one more line in here, and I'll type this line as well, and then I'll let you make sure that you're caught up.
Sunny, could you scroll it up a little bit? Since I-
Yeah,
Yes,
sorry.
please.
There you go. So H4, PHP blog info description. And this is what is going to go in the header. So make sure that this works for you and use the color coding to double check the syntax, because if there's a typo, it will be hard to catch.
Where is the opening of that one?
So that was wondering, give an opening a tag for another row.
It's the title. Oh, the A is up there.
Let's take a look here. So we have the A tag open. I don't think, let's see, maybe so the A tag opened and closed.
Oh, that would be.
That's the whole A tag. That's why. Right?
This is the whole opening A tag. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Okay, yeah, yeah. So all these go as attributes to the A tag. I know it's crazy, but
Yeah.
yeah, it makes you wonder why someone didn't write a tool to generate all this.
Right.
So once we get this done, this is the basic header file. Yeah, I feel like last time when I had to do the header and the footer, there was too much. So this is attempted to reduce to less, that it's still functional enough to show what the purpose of these files is.
So we can copy and paste this? And
Yeah.
figure it out?
So most of these functions in that first, in the anchor tag are echoing like,
Construct the URL.
okay.
You know, Adam is, I guess, Adam is not in my class, but one of my students likes to use the YouTube video to follow the code instead of from the screen. So if you can try it, it's easier for you. Just open the YouTube channel and then you have it on the background.
Oh, I see.
So that's just something to consider. It's hard to see it there. Are we still working on the header file or are we finished?
I have a running tab different kind of
Body's not closed.
Yeah, you don't want to close the body there, so remove that 25.
20.
I don't have body there.
Oh, you have body, okay. So here is play.
Now double check it carefully.
And that's it.
Okay, another maybe a couple minutes, and then we'll continue with index.php, and then see how all these are going to make header, index, and footer one unified dynamic site. All right, are we good? You know that you also have reference to the source files, so though now is your chance to try doing this by hand so you can get some understanding of the functions and the structure here. And next, let's open index.php, save this one so you don't lose your work. All right, in index.php, the first thing we're going to do is get the header. So I opened index.php, get header. It's getting late, functions are not, fingers are not cooperating. And then we haven't created this file yet, but we're also going to grab the sidebar. We did create the file, we just don't have anything in it. Okay, so we get the header and the sidebar, and then we're going to add a div with the ID of content. And this div will close in the index file, so you can close it. And in fact, right now we can go at the end of the file and include our get footer, which means that now our page is going to pull in everything we need to display, right? We have the header, the sidebar, and the footer here. And now the content is where the famous loop is going to be added. So the loop, and who remind us what is the loop again?
Like if there's blog posts, display them, something.
Yeah. If there are blog posts, display them. Continue doing while there are more blog posts to display. If there's nothing to display, sorry, no more to display. All right, so let's add our code for the loop here in the content. So if have posts, and these are all custom functions. I want to make sure everyone is clear. All these functions we're calling, they are functions that are called from WordPress. So what we're doing is we're just using a lot of functionality from WordPress to create our site. And this is PHP, so we're mixing some of our own PHP syntax, mostly the tags really. And then that's what we're doing. So if have posts, which is a built-in function with WordPress, then look at this. We just cover this in PHP class today. So do you remember the name of this operator now? The ternary operator, right? So if we have posts, while have posts, the post. Okay, then div with a class of entry. And this div will close as well here. And then H2. A, href, PHP, the permalink, the title, and then close your anchor tag and your H2, and this should resolve syntax errors here. And then inside this div, there will be another div with the ID of content. And this will also close here, so we have a bunch of nested divs, as you can see. And in the content, we're going to have PHP class equals post metadata. And a span with a class of author. by PHP, the author posts link, close the span. Oh, something is off. Let's see. By PHP, the author posts link. Close the PHP. Huh.
Oh, you.
What?
What do you do with that?
Let's take a look again here. Span. All right.
Is it because you can't put the span tag inside the PHP tag,
But I've closed the PHP tag.
but not further up?
You can close it.
Oh, maybe that's why it's complaining. Why didn't I close it? Let's see it up here.
But after the class?
Post metadata.
Oh, okay. I think that's probably why it's complaining.
Yeah.
All right. In fact,
But then
this is supposed to be a div, not a PHP. So I don't know how it ended up being a PHP.
Oh, okay.
So this is a div there. Sorry, guys. So on line 10, the class post metadata, that's not a PHP tag. It's just a div with a class. Okay.
So it's a div and a div.
Yeah, it's a div in a div in a div. Okay, so this was the author span, and now we're going to add a span with a class of date. The time. F, JS, Y, semicolon, close your PHP, and close the span.
Is there no comma between the F and the JS?
How many we still have to go?
There is no comma between the F and the JS, so that's correct.
And is the J lowercase and the S is capital?
Correct.
Can we take a break and then be right back?
So this is a format. I guess I should bring this up. I don't want to distract you, but let's remember to bring it up. I have it here on my other machine. Displays the date format FJ or JSY, which could be used to replace the tag the date. So it's one of the formats. If you look up the time function, you will get the following, except I think there is actually no S here. Oh, I have this. So it's just F comma J, FJ comma Y. This is the date. And then we have the categories. So we'll be done with the index pretty soon here. So span class equals categories. See more in PHP the category. Ampersand MIDDOT. All right, then we have 2 divs to close. Three divs to close. And then we're going to end the while loop. And while, else, don't do anything. And then, so let me bring this up. And then we have a paragraph with a PHP. Sorry. No posts match your criteria. Okay. Then we need to end the if and if. And this will be where we end the loop. I think we have one more div we need to close down here. So 4 divs total. Right. So this div corresponds to this div up here. So 3 divs opened and closed inside the loop and 1 outside of it. Okay, so this, you can take it out. The underscore E, actually, just don't worry about it, but it's for localization and it's just not something that's necessary right now. So this is the index.php. And I think the footer is pretty small, so we can probably get it done tonight. And you can even upload the files if you like, but we still have additional files to add. Okay. So save this, save all, and then we have footer.php. Div with the ID of footer. So be pretty easy and pretty easily understandable as well. While the site, copy, PHP, echo, the date, the year, and then here instead of saying Nook houses or the name of your site, you can say blog info URL. One. There we go. All right, and then close the tag. Oh, hi. And then add Nook houses. Hello. All rights reserved. Let's make sure there's no red here. Copy, PHP, echo date. Okay. Then we close the div. I think I already closed this actually. Okay, so we close the div. And then we add the so-called hook for the WP footer. You always want to put it before closing the footer. And we have a div to close from the header. We have the body to close and the HTML to close that we opened in the header. And it doesn't like this because those are not in the current file, but they should be okay when we combine the three files, right? So I think we're going to stop here, but if you like, you can try uploading it. It's not finished, so it will not, it will do something, but it will not really produce the entire process, the entire site as we have it. And we will continue with this next time.
So we can just footer and header.
We did so what did we do? Let's review. We went to when we did the header, the index, and the footer.
Yes, header.
And we learned how to create screenshot with all of this again. Yeah. Any comments?
I mean, as long as you keep in mind that your GitHub repository is basically just a giant collection of PHP files, like you learned in 120. It's the easiest thing ever.
See, it's just very easy. It's always
It's not, but I'm just gonna tell you guys
Still
that
can't.
this class is the most confusing class I've taken for me. But I, yeah, I have a really hard time with WordPress. But mine used to just say that, like, just think of it as a giant collection of include files, and then it'll make it easier.
Yeah. The mine saying you're taking twice.
Yeah, I had to drop it in spring quarter because of conflicts, so. But it was hard anyway, so.
It is confusing. I think WordPress is, it's not elegant. There is no top down to follow. It's just a bunch of functions that you have to make work. Yeah, these are.
I know,
These are
and you have to
WordPress
copy it,
functions.
you feel like you're copying code, and it's like, because you have to, because they're pre-written functions. So, like, that was another thing I was like, I'm just copying your code. And he's like, but think about it, you're not writing your own code, you're writing.
You're using code that already exists.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's not gonna work, because the functions are set pre-written functions.
Yeah. So your makeup looks really nice. Oh, God.
Index. I'm just take a look, y'all.
It recognizes it as a function. I don't think it will recognize it as far as to say, so if I click on this, it's going to tell me the arguments. It's not doing anything of that. So they're not recognizing that in that sense. Yeah, so I think you're okay.
It's just like you're saying everything's blowing up because
Yeah, I mean, I'm not running this from here either. We're just writing it here, and then we have to upload it, and then it should theoretically it should work then. Yeah. All right, that's all for tonight then.